Hey everybody. So this is going to be a new pattern, and I'm calling this the Hobo Hip Bag because it's very similar. It's in line to the Hobo Tote, and the Slouchy Hobo Bag, but this one is going to be worn on the hip. Okay, so before I get too far into these, I just need to get some terminology down. So here's a piece of leather, right? And I'll probably be using this one here in part. But I wanted to, as I'm talking about the patterns, I need to talk about a couple things. So there's the top side, or the nice side of leather, and then on the back side, or what I'm going to call the flesh side. Okay, so the top or the nice side, back side, or the flesh side. Okay, so there's a couple ways to do this pattern, and you'll notice that some of the pieces have the letters and numbers backwards. Okay, this is on purpose. There's a reason for it. Okay, so you'll have the sets, the pieces that have the stuff labeled normal and the stuff that's backwards. That's because if you only want to make this bag without a lining, okay, so without any kind of lining, you'd have this part that's going to be facing the outside, and this right what we're looking at would be the nice side, and the back right here would be the flesh side, or the back side, right? And then what you're going to be sewing this with is the backwards piece. Okay, the one that's backwards like that. But when you go to, you would cut this out backwards, and then when you're going to sew it together, you would sew it together like this, right? So that the nice side is here, and then the nice side is here. But when you go to sew this, because you're sewing it inside out, it would actually be the nice side for both pieces on the inside, like that. Okay, and you would sew it just on the black dots. Okay, not the red ones, just the black ones. You would sew that around, and then you turn it inside out, and then you're done, right? So it would be, if we're envisioning this, the end product, it would be kind of like this, but of course the stitching would be on the inside. And then this piece right here would go under a belt, come out over the top of the belt, and then button to a button that's going to be here. And it would be like that. So it would be like that, and the belt running under here, and of course the stitching would be on the inside. So that's, like I said, this would be the one without the lining. Very simple to do. Okay, let's walk through the one with the lining real quick. Hold on. Okay, so this, if you want to do this with a lining, which I'll do one as well, you're going to take the two pieces, the one that's right side with the lettering, and then the one that's inversed. You're gonna cut those both out, and then you're gonna, this is, imagine if this is leather, right? You'd have your the side that you want eventually out. Well, you're gonna have both of them. Both pieces that you're gonna be using will have the flesh side or the back side towards the middle. Okay, so you're just gonna take the two pieces, the lining and the regular piece that you want, like the main exposed leather. Okay, not the lining. So I'm gonna call this one the lining. And really, you could do it either way, depending on how you want this bag to be on the belt. If you want it to fold over this way, like that, or over this way, it's going to be up to you on that part, on how you want it, like on the left side of the body, right side of the body. That's going to be up to you. But either way, let's start with this. So let's say this is the lining part. And I'm going to use, like I say, a brown, right? Brown on the inside, green on the outside. That's going to be the most visible part. Okay, so the lining, right? I'm going to take these pieces. And again, since this is going to be the lining right here on the inside, the way we're going to sew it is inside out, right? Just like a tote bag. So the lining is going to go on the outside first. And so this piece will be the lining. Sorry. This piece will be the lining. So the lining's on the outside first. We're going to turn it inside out. So this side over here, lining, I think going outside. This would be the lining going on the outside. But again, you'd stitch these together, you'd sandwich these together, right? So that the green will be here, the blue or the brown will be outside. Stitch it together. And then on this one, you will stitch the red dots. So you're gonna be stitching this piece together like a sandwich, right? And then this one will stitch together all four like that. That way, when you do turn it inside out, okay, you turn it inside out, boop, it's gonna be like this, like that. And this would fold over through the belt and attach to a button like that, just like that. Okay, and then the belt will be right here. So that's how you're going to do this, depending on if you want a lining or not a lining, non-lining. So make sure you keep track of that as you're cutting these out. And I will continue to remind you of that as I go through. So I'm going to be using, for this one, I'm going to create a lining for it. And the lining is going to be a green. I'm going to have a nice russet brown, kind of like an autumn brown for the outside. Okay. And this way I can use some accents like some leaves on the outside on top of the brown, again, that kind of pull this color, the lining color out and kind of accentuate that. So, and I'm using, this is like a 2 to 3 ounce. Yeah, this is gonna be the lining. I'm gonna use the brown for the outside. So I'm gonna start cutting out some pieces for all of this. And I'm gonna cut out some more pieces for the other side, for the main, this side for the brown. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Okay, so here's just a quick progress. I did one of these. Okay, I did one, and then the flip side. Well, let me grab it real quick. Hold on. So this one has the lettering correct, and then this piece has the lettering backwards. So after punching and cutting these things out, and this is for the one if you don't want it reversible or don't want a lining. If you just want one piece of leather, this is what you do. And remember, if you're doing it like this, the holes that are red, like here, you would not punch those out. Okay, I punched these because I'm going to use it for the other one as well. But you could if you wanted to. You can stitch that if you want to, just to make it look nice. But see how it's inside out, the flesh side on the outside? That's because you would stitch this just around and flip it inside out, which would end up kind of like this, I guess. But you wouldn't see the stitching, of course. Right? It'd be kind of like this. And then you would loop this through the belt and button it. Well, I haven't cut the holes yet, but you'd button it here, like that. Okay? It's a very simple little hobo hip bag that you can put whatever you want in there. It would just keep everything nice and close to you, and it's just another nice little accessory, hobo style floppy bag that you could accentuate right here with leaves or some other type of. Look at these little holes here. Similar type of insignia or decoration or even laser etching could go here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to use this actually for the piece that has the lining, or you can call it lining, or if you stitch it like this and don't turn it inside out, you have the stitching exposed. And if you like it like that, that's up to you as well. If you wanted to use like an interesting colored stitching, you would just have to make sure that after you're done stitching, like if I hold it here, make sure you even up those edges. And this is thin enough leather that it would be kind of hard to bevel this, and it's kind of floppy too. So it'd be a little bit difficult to bevel it, but you would want to seal it and burnish those edges and keep those so they're not like opening up like that. Anyway, I'm not going to be doing it on this pattern. I'm going to be turning it inside out like a normal tote does, or hobo tote or hobo bag. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the green that I have cut out right here. I just need to tape them down, punch out the holes, cut it out, and start working it on with the brown here. Okay, so I'm going to work on that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got both colors cut out, punched out, and I have them set up here with some glue, and I use, where'd it go? And I use some of this here. It's just barge cement, lightly on one side, let it get tacky, and then put the other side together. And I used these little stitch keepers, these right here, to align the holes as I was putting the cement or the barge cement on there. So so just so I can handle these without them coming apart. They're just I didn't glue them like crazy, just enough so I can handle these without them coming apart. Anyway, so I have this part right here, the green. I have this larger piece here with the brown and the green. Okay, so now this is the time when you're going to want to, because we're doing this with the reversible or with lining. This is where you're going to want to make sure you put it down right, because you're going to turn this inside out, correct? So I want the brown to be on the outside at the final product. So I'm going to put the brown on the inside and the green on the outside. Okay, so it's going to line up, the holes are going to line up like that, and then you'll turn it inside out once it's done. But before we get to that, make sure on this piece right here, you're going to want to stitch this one right here closed for this panel. Not all the way to the sides, because these sides connect, right? But this piece right here along the top, not all the way to the edge, but just one over, like over here, and then one before the edge, because you'll end up sewing this or stitching this piece with here, right? So stitch it here, and then also on here, you're going to start at this second hole and just stitch up a ways, up and down, because you're going to start stitching if you line this up correctly, and again, use these little stitch keepers to help put them in the holes to make sure they line up. But you'll start with one stitch up from this first hole. Start there and then go all the way around. Okay, just that U shape. You're not going to continue on. And the same thing if you're on this side. If you're looking at this side, you're just going to go from here all the way around to the first stitch, or that one past right there. Okay, the other piece, without this, okay, like I showed you on the other side, without this, you're gonna stitch, starting with the second one, up and back down. And if you want to use the pattern as a guide, you could always do that. and then mark where that's going to be, or even like with this. Oops, no, wrong one. With this right here. You just put it there, make sure everything lines up, and then mark from your start here, and then take this off, and just know that you're going to go from here to here, stitch up and around. That's probably what I'll do, just so I know that I'm going from one extreme to the other, and I'm not having to like half, you know, if you get to here, then you have to do a small piece of sewing. It's just a little bit cumbersome. It doesn't look as good. So anyway, I'm going to do that. So remember that the green is on the outside, brown is on the inside because I'm flipping it inside out. And I will start, if you can zoom in here, I'm going to start on that hole. Okay, I'm going to start there. And then once I start this, I can just put this to the side because I already know where I've started, right? So I'm going to go up and down and then to right there. And then on this one, make sure you do just from here to there, not all the way. Okay, I'm going to do that next and then show you the progress. All right, be back in a second. Okay, so I went ahead, like I told you I was going to do, started on this side here and started sewing around, and I already did this side here. But you can see I started sewing here, came back around, and I stopped right here. So I can make sure that I put these pins in it, make sure these are lined, and so all that's left is to go ahead and start here and go all the way around to this end and stop here. So I'm going to go ahead and start on that. I'm using, what does it say? Havana Cigar Colored Tiger Thread, 0.6. So that's what I'm using on this one. All right. I'll be back as soon as that's done, and I'll show you before I turn it inside out. Okay. Okay, so I got the stitching done, and I have this little wooden button. It's actually like it's made out of coconut. It's pretty cool. Got it from Walmart. Anyway, they have some pretty cool buttons on there in the store. But I just wanted to put it there for placement, just so you can kind of get an idea of how, once I put the little slot in here to button it up, where that would lie. Again, this is where the belt would go. So if you want to keep it like this with the sewn exposed, you can. It's totally works. It looks good. I would just clean up the edges. Definitely clean up the edges, sand those down so they're all even, and then burnish those so that it looks finished, all along here as well. And then I would put the stitch the button there, put a couple holes, and stitch the button. But I'm going to turn this inside out now, so we can see what that looks like as if you wanted to, like, reversible type bag. Okay, I'll do that right now and show you. Hold on. Okay, so here it is. Turned it inside out. I got the green on the inside, but it's fairly spacious, like for a Hobo Hip Bag. If you want to take this to the fair or Ren Fair or cosplay or something like that, this would be perfect size for holding knickknacks, wallet, phone, plus whatever else you might want to throw in here. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and clean up these edges. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to get that slot made and the button placed in here. Placed right there. About there. It's going to be like that. Yeah. So get those two things done, and I should be done. Maybe I'll do some couple of extra little things on here, like I don't know, maybe put some put some accent pieces on here like that, or even a larger green one. Something's not going to interfere with that button, but can kind of spruce it up a little bit. Yeah, something like that might look nice. Anyway, so I'm going to do those things first, so you can see what it looks like, and then maybe get some glamour shots and somebody to model it for me. All right, see you in just a second. So yeah, here's what I was talking about. Just doing some embellishments, adding some different pieces to your bag to make it fit your theme or your outfit, your cosplay, whatever. So I just got cut out some maple leaves, like I was showing you before, and I riveted them to the body and also here to the main strap that comes over and connects to the button. But yeah, so I think it looks nice. I'm gonna get some pictures of this and get somebody to like wear it and model it for me. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, good luck on this. It's very straightforward, very simple. Again, you can use it with the lining or without. It'd be super easy without the lining because you don't have to do so much stitching, and you'd only have to cut out once. But I would probably, if I were doing this without the lining, I would probably have a thicker leather, just to give it a little bit more body and structure when I'm wearing it. I wouldn't want it too floppy of a piece without the lining. And the lining here is definitely giving it some shape, some structure here, holding it up. It's not flopping around. But yeah, I think this looks nice. Yeah, give me a shout out on Facebook or Etsy or YouTube or Instagram or my website, my new website that I have up. Chat at me there. All right, thanks and good luck.